Hey, how you doing? Where's the button? Miller, hello? Xerox, hello? Where's the button? That's the one. Pro streamer here. How you doing, everybody? Let's get zoomed in. Let's zoom out a little bit. I guess that'll do. Stream has started. How you doing, everybody? That's better, I think. How you doing, everyone? How's the week been? Something emo, something emotional. We started a track last week that's kind of like that sort of emotional neoclassical kind of vibe. So we're just going to continue that. It's very emo. But we're not doing literal emo. I can't do that. I'm not a 2000s teenager. It's impossible. Is emo still a thing? I don't know anymore. Yeah, I mean emotional. That's right. That's okay, Miller. Soling, thank you for the subscribe. For the prime. How you doing? How art thou? What's the name of the music? I don't know yet. Oh, the music that was just playing was called I Walk with Ghosts. One of my favourite works that I have ever written. It's very nice. I like it. I'm happy with it. Use this background audio while doing work. Very good. I approve. Use the songs for aquariums because they have very nice music. Always mentioned it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No problem, Solink. Seriously? I don't know if I can stop myself anymore. I think it's a little bit of a problem. Tomorrow's your birthday? Well, happy birthday. You doing anything crazy for your birthday? What are you doing? It's 1:21 a.m. Go to bed. That's nuts. What are you doing? What are you doing? I cannot stay up past 10 o'clock anymore. Like, 10 o'clock is a late night for me. It really is. I'm at the lengths of what this boom can do. It's as far as it can go. Yeah, I'm so sorry for all the Europeans who want to hang out when I write music, but it's not the greatest of time slots for you all. I'm so sorry. Considering I spent so much time in Europe, you know, I want to give you guys a good time, but yeah, we have to live with the reality that I work during the day here now. It happens, but one day I'll figure out how to do another stream in the afternoon. I'm a bit busy at the moment. A bit too many projects at the moment that are taking up a lot of my time, which is good. It's good to be busy. Please post VODs of me playing an instrument. I don't know if I can, Bored Human. This is literally me playing the computer right now. That's my instrument. I don't really have an instrument. I have a piano, I guess, but I don't actually own a piano. I want to learn. So I want to learn a few instruments. I've got an old violin that was I guess my great grandfather's. That's sitting at my parents' house. That it needs a lot of work. It needs to be given a lot of loving by someone who knows how to fix a violin. But then I want to learn how to play it. So that's one thing. And then I would love to learn how to play clarinet. I love clarinet. I love a lot of wind instruments, but I think clarinet's probably the most accessible of them all. Well, Big Red. How you doing? Sometimes it's Scott had never learned piano, he'd probably be cellist. Maybe. I don't know what I would have been. See, it's one of those things where I don't think I would have been exposed to any sort of string instrument in the area, and the kind of the life that I grew up in was not exposed. Like it's a very classist thing here in Australia, where people who play violin tend, like, or string instruments, yeah, as a kid, tend to come from private schools. So they're like, the rich kids, per se. Not necessarily rich, but they're the ones who got into a private school. The private schools are the ones that seem to teach string instruments. At least it was when I was growing up. So the only sort of instruments that you had a chance to play were, like, wind instruments like clarinet and flute, or brass instruments, or percussion. So maybe, I don't know what I would have been, to be honest. Don't know what I would have been. Probably vocalist, actually. Now that I think of it. So my mum was a vocalist. She was big into, like, opera and musical theatre. Kind of like semi-pro. And I sang a lot. I used to sing a lot as a kid, and even as a teen, I do a lot of stuff. And I probably would have gotten training to sing, so probably would have been a vocalist. Isn't that weird to think? Actually, guys, I ended up, when I did my music degree, there was like an audition to enter to get into the music degree. Even though I had learnt piano, I'm like at that time I was a reasonably skilled pianist. I had quite severe tendinitis at the time that I was entering uni and doing the audition, and so I ended up auditioning with voice. I got in on my voice, so I sung my way into university. It was less pressure on me because I wasn't applying for, like, a performance program, so it was like, it was fine. But so I didn't have to be that good, I guess. But I did. That's what I did. So I keep on forgetting about that. Then I got into university on my voice, on my sexy voice. Told yourself you're going to take a nap, then it went live. Oh gosh, Lone Star, I would always take a nap over me. Seriously. Doing well, Big Red? That's good. I make for decent background noise. That's awesome. Hey, Rogero. Scientific art. What? Tell us a bit about your background and music influences. What kind of music's influenced you the most? The thing that really got me into writing music was cinematic music, film music. So it's like I absolutely kind of obsessed over the Star Wars soundtrack. John Williams. I bought a box set CD sort of thing, like a 2 CD set from my friend who's a really big Star Wars nerd. He's like, really has all the. At that time, he was like a collector. He was buying stuff, all the things, including the soundtrack. And he wanted to, didn't really want the soundtrack. He wanted to give it to me, so I bought it off him. And I listened to that like every night for 2 years. I could hum you the soundtrack to A New Hope. I really could. So I think that's got to have a big influence on me. It's probably that sort of thing where I think I fell in love with that 80s cinematic sound, which has kind of disappeared in recent years. Probably because of Hans Zimmer has probably shaped how cinematic music sounds these days, and that's fine. I think also Hans is a huge influence. Like, scores like Gladiator was also a real big influence on me, I think. I'd be a baritone. No, I think when I'm singing, I'm a pretty solid tenor, actually. I could even do a bit of countertenor. I got a good falsetto, I think. But also, like, other things growing up was like things like I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but I was kind of into Mariah Carey. But she was a great singer, great vocalist. But also the Beach Boys. I was big into the Beach Boys. So they taught me a lot about harmony, those guys. Yeah, Hans has changed well, yeah. Never forget the first time we saw Gladiator in the theatre with your dad. The soundtrack was amazing, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely had a big influence on things, yeah. What's my opinion on Blade Runner's Vangelis soundtrack? It's great. Really, really cool. It's one that I came to much later. I never really listened to it much early on. I think it's taken me a long time to like appreciate those really sort of synthy, those analog synthy scores from back in the day. I don't think I quite got it because I was so wedded to like the sound of the orchestra and that sort of thing. I think that was really a big thing to get over. That these scores were so, they just sounded really weird to me. But I'm absolutely fallen in love with them now. Just a weirdo. Taking a long time to warm up, you know. Thinking about the exact thing the other day, it went from symphonic real music to synth-based and sample music. Yeah, exactly. It's a big shift. Big shift. For better and for worse, I think. There's new things that you can do that you can't if you're just restricted to an orchestra. Like you are limiting yourself, but there's also a lot of baggage that comes with like shifting towards this new world, you know. But let's just make music. That's what we're doing now, right? Just do what you want. Impulsive Productions, how you doing? I'm alright. I'm alright. We had a weird weekend. Yesterday we had we woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to water flowing through one of the light fixtures in our bathroom. And we're in an apartment building. So it wasn't like, and it wasn't raining or anything. So it was like, where's this water coming from? And it eventually slowed, but now there's like a big sort of moving wet patch on the roof, and I don't know what we're going to do. So the plumber's coming in today to figure it out. But you know, that was weird. Williams assessed you too, yeah. And similar spectacular, yeah. I mean, Zimmer's stuff. I feel like there are certain scores where I feel like he reinvents himself a little bit every time. I really appreciate the work that Zimmer does for like creating a world that you can inhabit. There's a really an intangible kind of atmosphere to his music. So does Williams and a lot of other film composers, but there's something really special about Zimmer's, particularly when he absolutely applies himself to the film. So a lot of the work, like, it's his perfect pairing for oh mate, what's the director's name? He did Inception and what's his name? Oh my god, brain no worky today. You know the guy. Director guy. But like giving him the freedom to, you know, essentially do his thing. And when he's got that freedom, it's like, oh yeah. Oh yes. When did you realize you were starting to find your own voice? Was it by improvising? Yeah. I think it was a lot of that, like, and just doing it. Like Chris Nolan, thank you. Thank you, Airtime. Oh, I'm horrible. Yeah, it's about doing things a lot, I feel, for me. Like, there's that iterative process of really practicing the things that you do and doing it enough that you get to the point where you're kind of doing it by intuition. And I think that's when you start to really find your voice. It takes time to do that, I think, but you really gotta allow it to happen, I think. But yeah, my whole process of writing is very improvisational too. It's very emergent writing, which is also good and bad. Like I can plan things. You know, I do long-term projects that require you to figure out where a score's going over time and whatnot. But it's still like very. I don't know what I'm. Like, sit down at a computer. I don't know what I'm going to write that day. Kind of vibe. We'll see where it goes. I'm curious, Rogerio. Do you make scientific art? Because I'm kind of into scientific art too. So I don't know if you know. I'm actually I have a PhD in soil biogeochemistry. I used to work as a researcher, and one part of what I used to do as part of my writing for journals and publishing our work was actually creating illustrations for our papers, which was really fun. So it's probably, I don't know if it's the same sort of style you do, but yeah, really, really good. These days I'm not working as a scientist anymore, but I really want to kind of use my science somehow. So I'm trying to figure out how to make art that's science inspired, but not just about teaching, I guess, or communicating. Biological stuff. Oh, cool. I really want to check your work out. I'm a big fan of all this sort of stuff. I'm going to go to your channel. Ah, lovely. Oh, your work is great. So beautiful. Very good. I can't draw like that though. I do a lot of like I might show you an example. I see what I've got. But I do a lot of like Illustrator stuff. So what's a good example? This is not music at all, guys. This is not music at all. So this was for a textbook. Let's see if I can find the original image. Roots version 2, maybe. This is an old image though. It's like 2016, I think. So this is what where's this thing? Full screen video? This is the kind of stuff that I kind of get up to. This is for a textbook, but it was looking at various root structures and stuff. So it's a very different style, very flat illustration. But yeah. Yes, I'm only focused on music now. Although, no, that's not true. I'm still writing stuff. I'm still trying to get like data finished and sent off back to the lab in Sweden because yeah, there's still stuff that needs to be published, but I won't be writing the papers anymore. It'll be other postdocs and PhD students who will write it up. But yeah. Hey, Manny. Yeah, but it's fun. You're a biologist too? That's cool. I've got a coffee here. So thanks. What field do you work in, Roger? I'm guessing plant science. Looks like a lot of plants. But yeah, I'm trying to focus on the music these days. It's my best. Trying my best. That's okay. Coffee machine, guys. Don't panic. Okay. Well, maybe we can try and make some music. Might be an idea. You want a coffee too? Well, I don't know. What time is it where you are? Maybe that's not a good idea. That's all. Maybe it isn't. So this is a track we started last week. You got prizes in Australia, Rogerio? No way. Very cool. Working on plates with new species of plants. Okay. Proper botanist. Very good. It's 5 p.m. I would say don't have a coffee, Mel. That's my suggestion. Alright, this is a track we started last week. It is what it is. It's neoclassical. I don't know. It's emotional. It's got a vibe. So let's just vibe and see where this goes. Oh. Okay, one of these synths is very loud, and I don't know why. Sorry? Why that synth is so loud? Well, this is mostly what we got. So we got this kind of crescendo, and then it sort of drops away. And the idea is, I guess, to have this sort of middle section that's kind of mellow, and then sort of builds up again. That's the plan. Don't know why this synth is misbehaving though. It's so loud. Thank you, Miller. Margaret Flockton Award. Congratulations, her. That's really cool. Really, really cool. I think about space and dreamy fantasy dimensions like Hans Zimmer. That could be the link between art, music, and science. I agree. I think it'd be really cool to actually purposefully think about specific ideas, I guess, and try to work with them more directly in my music and other forms too. I want to kind of do more art in general, but I'm really into printmaking, but I'm not a very good printmaker at the moment, so I got to practice more. But I'd love to explore this, like the idea of like maybe writing music for an orchestra, like to be performed classically in a proper classical setting. That could be fun. It could be really cool. How long have you been writing your own compositions? Ooh, a long time. Like 20 something years, 25 years. Not all of that time professionally, but a reasonable chunk. Yeah. I have many years of writing music in cakewalk. Thank you, Anne. Okay, we need the swells to swell a little more, I think. This probably can come down a little bit. I feel like it's very forward. Let's do that. So this is a new library I played with last week, called Arcus. It's not new, it's just new to me, because I upgraded to the new Native Instruments complete thing, and I didn't even know this existed. It's like all these cool, like sort of layered textures, and it's very fun, very moody. I kind of want it to be not so forward. It needs to be, this is a background color, it's not the main instrument here, so let's just be a little bit more tactful, hey? Everything's sort of out of whack today. I don't know why. Bass is too loud. Piano's too loud. Thank you, Abby. I'm really glad you like the stuff that I do. This one's kind of baffling me today. I don't know why it sounds so different. What was I drinking? What was in the water last week? What's going on? I think maybe this can be a little bit more. Let's put a big old delay on this patch. Don't know why, but Cakewalk keeps on putting newly opened windows right down the bottom here. Like, it makes no sense to me. I don't know why it's doing that. Soft clouds. Some of the patches in XT are not some of the patches in Replica I like better than the ones that are in XT. That's all. I'm one that just wants to use default things, you know. I can't think otherwise. I love emotional oriented pieces. The most interval things. There is a place echoes. Yeah, I love working in those styles, man. I really do. They make me feel real, you know. I don't know. Feels good. Hey, Jack. You glad that my accent isn't so Australian? Australian? That's good. Yeah, I'm a city slicker, so I have a pretty bland Australian accent. If you go a little bit out west, they start talking like this. What?
You're from Queensland, so you already.
I am from Queensland, that's true. So you got that. Yeah. Maybe slightly less intelligible than maybe a Melbourneite or something. What are we making today? We're making, I don't know what we're making. We're making slow moving, moody orchestra, I suppose. But I'm struggling with it today. It feels like it's maybe too fast even. Struggling with it. I do wonder if we also would benefit from a little solo cello over the top of the cello section. Just had a little bit more like crispy performance. Probably just performance samples would be fine. THK, that's awesome. So happy. Do you want to take a spa day? Very good. Yes. That can go there. This can go here. That can go there. Remember, I can use my little MIDI device right next to me here. What key are we in? At this point, it just escalates really rapidly, and it's not right. It's not right. It's got to sort of slowly move upwards. So the volume just suddenly changes. That might be an interesting addition, Claw. Might be interesting. What do I want to do with this? What am I doing? Yeah, it's a nice cello. This is the performance samples. Solo strings. It's not really good for fast runs, but it's very nice and easy to perform, which is good. Okay. Something's clashing in here too. Imagine Raw. Good evening, writing from Spain. Discovered your channel through the other design channels. Cool. Like using music and add atmosphere to the creation. Some of these works have been very cinematic. Yes, that's my vibe. Let me search for you to found my art. Thank you. Compositions give goosebumps. You like The Climb? I like The Climb too. It's a good track. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Imagine. Thank you so much. Hey, Rusty. Whoa. You're everywhere. Oh man, I'm good. All right. I'm okay. How you? How you doing? Yeah, it is a little bit Sigaros, I think. We did see them not so long ago. A couple of weeks ago. It was very good. So perhaps this might be slightly inspired by that. But I'm not really, I don't know, something's about this track, man. Something's going on. What is clashing? Is it the piano, maybe? Theremin wouldn't be that bad in addition to this, I think. Right there. What is going on? What's doing the clash? Here, it's these strings. Aha. And hurdy-gurdy, hell yeah. To be honest, I'm actually using hurdy-gurdy a lot more these days. Yeah. I'm working on an album of Elder Scrolls arrangements for Silver Screen. And I'm definitely pulling out the hurdy-gurdy on most tracks these days for those tracks. Have I composed for big movie? No, not really. TV show, video game. I mean, I'm working on 2 really cool video games at the moment. One's called Falling Frontier, and the other is called Menace. They're both sort of sci-fi strategy. Menace is like a strategy tactics game, like a, what do you call it? Kind of like XCOM-ish kind of vibes. And then Falling Frontier is like a real-time strategy mashed with like a 4X kind of, universe exploration kind of thing. Big sweeping epic sci-fi story. Good fun. Both are really, I really want to share what I've been doing with them. Really do. I'm sorry, Mr. Man. You had a rough day? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Just chill. Just take a load off. Okay, I think the key to this track is actually playing around with this silly, this string patch that I've got going through Arcus here. I think that's the key here. I think this is what's throwing me off a little bit. It's very samey. That's the problem. Maybe I could rewrite this. Maybe we can rework this. Into something that actually I like. What am I actually playing here? Okay. Okay. So maybe this can actually come up a bit if I stay in the lower registers a bit. Maybe it's too loud. Too loud. I will, man. Thank you. I'll gratefully accept. Mail, Brendan, thank you. Have a good night. Sleep well. Alright, so it's a bit more basic now. Means we gotta probably do a bit more work in other instruments to sort of add a bit more colour, but I think this is gonna be better. I think this is better. Okay. Plomio. I mean, not specifically that question, but I do have a lot of issues with Opus. I don't know whether it's Cakewalk or whether it's Opus itself. I just don't know. I don't have another DAW to try it out with at the moment. So I have the weird issue. Some of my brass have this kind of looping issue, where if I hold it for longer than like a sample, they have obviously samples that sort of cross-fade into each other when you hold a sustain. And what happens if you hold the sustain for too long, maybe it will do it in here, it will start doing this weird clipped loop. I'll see if I can get it to do it. Oh, no, it's not doing it now because I want to show it. But there is weird things that I encounter, and I don't know. It's like, you new to Opus and it's frustrating to find answers. Yeah. So it's stopping halfway. So you're holding the note down and it just, does it sound like it's releasing the note, or is it just essentially like the audio just hard stops? What's happening? I mean, it might be worth, like, they have a reasonably good support service at East West. It sounds online, so it might be, maybe it's worth your time just sending them an email and seeing what they think. I don't know. Hard stops, yeah, okay. It doesn't obviously doesn't do this with any other VSTs that you've got, just Opus. One thing, I don't know, is this from, are you loading like a template with Opus in it? Or is it like a fresh opening of like a new Opus instance? Because one thing I have encountered is that like recalling, like particularly the brass thing that I'm having is like if I load up a template that has, say, a bunch of Opus instances in it with stuff loaded into it, I'll more likely encounter that issue on a new template load. And that means like, and the way it might usually get around to fix it is just reloading the instrument. But may not be what might not fix you, I guess. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these issues are so specific to people's computers, which sucks. Everything's computer? What? I don't quite know what that means, but that's right. Insert audio track. I want to add some brass. Might help it feel like it's building a bit more with some warmth, some nice warmth. We want where is it? Spitfire, Tundra, low brass. We want some hollow brass. Very warm. Now I get you, Rusty. Bit of a mess, but I think that's the right idea. S at the end there. Okay. Leave the end for later. Gotta figure out where it's going first. Oops. Little bit of a rumble from the timpani, maybe. Teeny tiny little bit. Rebecca, hi, first time coming. How are you? Wanted to ask, how do you get into orchestral music or music in general? I was kind of into film music for a long time. Like as a teenager, I really got into like John Williams and all those Star Wars scores. Really obsessed, you know, and Hans Zimmer and whatnot. I was also really fortunate to have a piano teacher who was really big into music tech, so music technology. She was actually, she and her husband owned a company that would sell music software and hardware to schools. So essentially teaching, so teachers can teach students how to use software like this to write music and produce music and whatnot. And so she was really encouraging of me to play around with this stuff, and I got hooked. I got really into it. And yeah, I never really looked back. This came a very, like a sort of the default way for me to write music is to work with a computer, you know. There's a lot of other people who write music, you know, thinking about notes on a page. I don't think like that. I think like this, with like, you know, programmed performances inside a computer, which is interesting. So yeah, I was really lucky to have a teacher who was kind of into this in a big way. Helped me a lot and she encouraged me a lot to do it. And I just kept on doing it. That's kind of why I'm still here doing it, I guess, 20, 30 years later. Actually, I wonder if there's kind of like, oh, come on, man. If there's a cool patch in Straylight that we might be able to make use of, some sort of pad-like thing that will help fill out things as well, make things feel a bit even more ethereal. Oh, that's not gonna work at all. I want it to be ethereal. We want it to be dreamlike. That's kind of cool too. Okay, actually, I'm gonna have a quick bio break. And then we'll come back and play with this for a bit. Be right back. Okay. Kind of works. It kind of works. Lush Meadows. Remember that one? Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, thank you. Let's save. I agree. I don't remember what we saved. Sound design, how you doing? I'm alright. Having a little bit of a slow go at this track today. It's not coming so easily today, but sounds like something that should be more in Farlight than Straylight. I wonder if we could chilling. It is a bit cold today. Neoclassical, I guess there's another way of saying new, modern classical, but I don't know what it is, to be honest. It's like a catch-all term that I generally use to like cover like music that is sounding a little bit more classical in nature, but it's not classical music. You know what I mean? I don't know. Make of it what you will. You write neoclassical? Very good. You could also say contemporary classical. I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. The classical world's kind of a weird one, you know, like it's sort of semi-elitist in the way it's defined, like the kinds of things that are allowed to be classical music. Even though I like strictly speaking, classical music is actually from a certain period, you know, a time. Strictly classical music, but the whole like, you know, the music that belongs in a you know, in a concert hall or something. That's classical music, you know. And this isn't classical music because I don't play it in a concert hall. But what is it then? I don't know. New age music, maybe. I think I know. I think that's what Oliver Arnold puts a lot of his music under, is new age. So maybe that's where it is. Okay. Trumpet of Death, thank you so much for gifting No Talent Idiot Writes Music a sub. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm sure you're no talent. No talent. I'm sure you're not a no talent. You know what I mean? Oh my god. That's like a many negative, double negatives that got on there. Illinois, how you doing? First time live, watching you live. Welcome on in. Today we're just super chilling, trying to work on this emotional thing, this very slow moving orchestral track. You bought SSO from Spitfire. Congratulations, Trapper. How's it go? You clearly like it. That's good. I'm happy for you. See you, Rusty. Have a good night. Awesome, Randolfo. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Yeah, no worries. Is this new keyboard? Not really. I bought this when I moved back to Australia. So, I mean, yeah. It's a year and a half old now. 2 years old. But it is different than one I was using in Sweden, yes. I ended up leaving that one behind. It was good. I really enjoyed it, but felt like I could actually have a bit more space to use a full size keyboard this time around. Last one was like what was it? What are they called? The micro keys. That's right. The Korg micro keys. It was really good. It has the smaller keys. It had a great action to it. But yeah. sharing a little from my workflow. Indeed, I hope people enjoy this. Like, I mean, I get the benefit of having you keep me accountable because sometimes I forget to work on library music because I've got other things to do, and so these times where I stream, it's a great time to get work done on new music for the library. Otherwise, I might not do it. I'm bad like that. No worries, Benji. I'm glad you're getting some use out of it. That's really good. Makes me happy. Climb from the Metaball. Nice. That's really cool. Thank you, Benji. To mention about the door and the VSTs I'm using here live. Thank you so much. So this is Cakewalk. This is a program called Cakewalk Sonar. It's a new version of it. And it's just, I mean, the door I feel like is not as important as much as most other things. Like the door is kind of like the vehicle for everything that you're writing in. Like it's good to have one that sort of clicks with you, because not all of them are, you know, they're all built differently. They do things differently, but I feel like they all kind of do the same thing. So it's kind of just finding one that works for you. I use Cakewalk because I've been using Cakewalk for, you know, forever. I've used it since its very early iterations, so it's like I've just continued to use it. There's plenty of other ones out there, you know, Cubase and Studio One, and I don't know, help me out here, chat. Logic, if you're on Mac. There's plenty out there. How much black coffee do you drink now? Probably quite a lot. Yeah, at least 3 to 4 cups a day. Yeah, Reaper's good. Yeah, back when it was paid. It's paid again. Actually, the new version of Cakewalk is part of their like yearly subscription thing now, which is a bit of a pain, but I'm happy for it to be a paid. Like happy for it to be to pay someone to help develop it. I was a bit worried about that, like the model for like continuing to support free software, you know. In terms of the VSTs I'm using for this one particularly, it started with this library here called Arcus, which is a native instruments library. I was just playing around with it because I recently got this, you know, in an upgrade, and I didn't know what it was, and so this has kind of sparked this track. Very fluttery, layered orchestral sounds, which is really fun. But the bulk of the stuff that I would be generally using for the tracks like this, like the strings, for instance, are Vista strings from performance samples. So if I load them up, where they are, this is performance samples. I love them. They're very nice, sort of chamber strings, but they sound much bigger than just like a small chamber string group. For some reason, sound very nice. I use a smattering of different things though. Like I've got Musio, which is like the Cine samples stuff. I use them for a lot of woodwinds. I got East West. I got the Composer Cloud, like things like the East West Hollywood Orchestra usually for a lot of brass and percussion. What else do I use a lot of? And a lot of synths, like a lot of native instrument stuff, just because they're really cool synths that really jive with me. A lot of like a few Spitfire libraries for that sort of textural strings and things like that. Like and brass as well. I often use what I've got here, like the Tundra, Albion Tundra. Where is it? I'm using this at the moment, Albion Tundra from Spitfire, for really sort of warm, low brass sounds, which is very nice. Yeah, so that's a bunch of stuff that I've collected over years, I guess. Yeah, Tundra's great, very, very nice. Yeah, I use Labs as well. I use that a lot. Not as much these days, but there's a few patches in there that I kind of can't find anywhere else, you know. Like there's the soft piano, like the Lab soft piano is just really good. And there's a synth patch in one of the synth pads sort of things. It's just really good. It's really warm and lush. What effects plugins do I use? So not a great deal. When I do use them, I subscribe to the Slate Digital plugins. So they're the things like I use them for bus plugins to like help compress and sort of glue things together a bit. So they're pretty fun. the problem I find with Slate Digital is that a lot of the sort of guides for how to use it, it's very geared towards people who are working in like rock and alternative music. It's not so much my style of music, but it's a great suite of plugins. I use them a lot for a lot of things. That's just sort of chain, like analog sort of chains and things like that just add a little bit of something. I also use a lot of East-West, like the spaces for the reverbs. I use a lot of Replica these days from Native Instruments for delays and stuff as a replacement for reverbs, just because they have a little bit of a different feel to them, which is fun. And then like for an EQ, I also tend to use, I think this is a Slate Digital EQ called Infinity, which is very nice. I use it a lot. And I also really like, I've got a bunch, there's a lot I don't use, but the Killer Hearts suite. There's like I don't know if it's free, I don't know what it is, but it's like a really cool sort of just toolkit of stuff. So like there's things like I use all the time, like a trance gate. There's just like a gain, simple gain up and down. Really simple stuff that just like, the pitch shifter is really good for fun creative things because it's a live pitch shifter. Like it's really good and quite interesting. You can get some interesting things out of it. Yeah, so I find it's a really just a fun fun toolkit to have, useful toolkit for fixing things as well. Yeah, Transcade is great. Yeah, just works, it just works. Simple interface, just does the job. Hey Bronson, how you going? Fun montagey type thing. There's a few horror ones. I probably don't have a good montagey one. Other than if you check in like there's like a at least on my YouTube page. If I go over here, there's a few like pop tracks that might be suitable. Let me see if I can find the list for you. You can just play it and see if there's something in there. Yeah, give this list a look. I'll put it in chat. Where's the chat? Here we go. For maybe possible montage stuff. I don't know what you're vibing for, but there might be something in there. Alternatively, if you're after like the horror stuff, let's have a look. I've actually got a Halloween playlist, which is mostly stuff that would sound like Eyes in the Void. So let me see if I can find that Halloween playlist. So I'll copy this. This is the playlist there. Not all of it. Some is just more spooky and fun, but there's a few things in there that might work for you. Particularly probably the old ones. The old ones is a bit more to sound designing. Anyway. Black Waltz, you like that one? Yeah, I like that one too. It's a good one. if we added some weird delay to the trumpet. King, how you doing? Wondering for a while, how did Alan approach you to make music for Showdown? What made you agree and what made you come back for Parkour and so on? So he approached me. How did he? So he essentially just sent me an email. He had found my music. He's been using my library music for various things over the years. So that's how he sort of came to know that I existed, I guess. And then, yeah, it's just one day he just sent me an email saying, we got this thing we're working on. We think that custom music would be best, like, because he was edging towards using some stuff from the library, but he thought that something that would that was purposely written for it would be better suited. And he asked if I was keen, and I said, you know, I was. I mean, at that point, I was doing music for the library. I wasn't working in music full time at that point. I was just kind of mostly from choice, because I moved out of music into science. I was working as a science researcher, and music was just kind of a hobby thing, you know, this fun thing that I did in the evenings. Mostly because I can't stop writing, you know, it's one of those things. And when he got in touch, it was like, it sounded like a really fun thing to try. It was pretty low stakes at that point. You know, it was only a 3-minute track, it was like 3 minutes of music, I think. It wasn't that long. I forget how much I actually ended up writing, but so it wasn't a ton of music. I had plenty of time to do it, so it was very sort of no pressure and something to try. And so I had to go, and it worked out really well, and it was a great experience, and everyone was really happy, and I was happy. So yeah, it just kind of continued from there. I think the reason why I kept on coming back was the response in the audience. I think, like, there was like something that they recognized that there was more going on in that episode than that wasn't happening, I guess, in previous episodes, because the music was fairly sparsely used, I guess, up until that point in his series. So yeah, so it was kind of like for both of us, it was kind of a new sort of thing to see whether we really wanted to do it, and yeah, it sort of kept on going. Worked well. Worked well for both of us. Thanks, King. So this one actually, for a rare turn of events trumpet, it's actually to a click. Very slow click. Well, not really slow, but I'm playing it sort of half time, I suppose. So usually when I want to get that vibrato feel, I actually generally, I tend to record without a click, so I just kind of freewheel it. But I thought this time it might be worth just trying to keep it locked a bit. But I think it's more in the performance. So I kind of, when I'm playing it, like there's no quantizing happening in this track. So it's like very free flowing in terms of like the performance of it. You know, I might come in a little late or a little early on certain beats to sort of emphasize the sort of a like an ebb and flow kind of feel. So that's what's adding to that rubato feel, I think. How you doing, Maple? Just learning the basics of making my own contact library. Nice. Very cool. How's that going? I know very little. I've made some very, very basic contact libraries, but it's like all I need is for it to trigger when I press the note. That's as far as I've gotten. And I can do that. I can easily do that. So I feel like we're spinning our wheels a little bit, but I think the more and more work I do on this opening section, I think we're getting there. I just wonder whether we need something, sort of a focal instrument. I just don't know what that would be, you know? How much longer? Probably another 20 minutes, I reckon. Then I'm gonna go find some lunch. I'm really, really feeling hungry today. Hunger. Took forever to load that cello. So I'll try the Vista 2 cello. It's got a very quick attack to it. That's the one thing I've struggled with this one. It's a very quick attack. Whereas the other one feels like it's more lyrical. Yeah. Miller, how you doing? You back? Craving in particular? No. It's a cold day today. Cool day. It's not super cold, but it's cold enough that I feel like I want warm food. So I don't know. There is a half a roast beef in the fridge, that we cooked last night. Maybe we'll make something with that. Don't know what though. Curry, that'd be alright. No, but curry's a perfect cold weather food. Perfect. Warms you up. Warms your soul. I don't know what I'm doing. This has been a struggle today. Spammers. I'm so glad, King. Thank you. You probably know my music better than I do now. I agree, Maple. Yeah, the only problem I have is that I don't really like my solo French horns. That's one thing I probably need to look at correcting, but just I mean, I use them when I need to, but they just don't always work very well. And I don't know I don't know what I'm doing. What I'm doing wrong. But I can't find a good one. Maybe it's like like that's one thing I'll be curious about, whether Cinematic Studio Brass does those sort of things better. Be worth trying or hearing more, I guess. Get it out, King. Feel good though. I really appreciate it though. Like, so nice. That's so nice of you. Thank you. What's wrong with the sound of it? It's more the tone's fine. It's more the I don't know what. I don't know. Like, sometimes it works really well for things. It's just there is some notes like that where I feel like the dynamic crossfade between the sort of quieter parts of the horn and the louder is too low. Like, some of them are great. Like there. It's just too low. And it interferes with me and I get really annoyed with it. How's Jurassic Park go? I forget. I feel like having legato voices fade in out with the chords could be cool. It might be. Let's give it a go. Was it used on the Zelda album? Yes. Where would it have been? I think it got used on the Zelda's Lullaby. Is that what I want to think? I want to say that's a good one that has a feature solo horn. Go for it, King. Yeah. That'd be really fun. Denica. Yes, absolutely. It's got that definitely like slow moving, like that, melancholic kind of vibe that would fit with like a war movie or something like that. I agree. I mean, it's not too bad. I think it's a good layer. Well done, guys. Legacy Horn by Stream Tech. Okay, I'll check it out. Legacy Horn, Stream Tech. Cool, thank you. Very nice. Yeah, what I would love is a horn that, like, a lot of instruments would be great if it would do this, but like this instrument here, this solo trumpet, Norland Samples, which is from a bunch of people that used to live in Umeå, which is where I used to work. I'm kind of sad that I never caught up with these people. But this trumpet is fantastic. I use it on so much stuff. Like, it jumps between short, like, staccato and long legato just effortlessly. And get this, guys, this is free. Like, if you have contact, which I understand not everyone has, but you can get this for free. It's a free download. Like, it's nuts. It's all over the Zelda album, this one. The trumpets everywhere. Maybe we can go all out of here and actually add some like small choir vibes. Add to the etherealness. It's a little cliche, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I am all about cliches. Use the trumpet heavily along with monster sax for your remix of Pick Step. Nice. So yeah, such a good trumpet. Monster sax though, I don't know this. I like a good sax. It's a free instrument. Another one. I'll have to find that one. I'll check that one out too. Seem to be doing pretty well. Would you like to do this? I do this professionally, Volodenka. Volodenika? I don't know how to say now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But yeah, I do this full time. I write music for a big old library that gets used by a lot of people over social media, particularly YouTube. But I write for animations. I write for games. I do this. This is my job, which is fantastic. Very exciting. Oh, hello. Me too, Jay. We got there eventually, hey? Yeah, that's fine. Actually, no. Let's bliss it out. A 1435 and the King. When I listen to it, don't know how to describe it. It feels so alive. That's cool. Probably don't know but it's the scene where purple is in the beam, yes, and transitions to gold. Those modes that this player send you. That's so cool. So glad, King. I'm so glad. Makes me so happy. Ooh. That will add a lot, I think. So let's do that. Thank you, Disasterman. See if I can remember to do a rage, eh? end of that wasn't quite right, I don't think. Enderblade! Oh, trumpet. Trumpet gifting Enderblade. Thank you. Thank you so much. See the emotion coming from this. It feels like something in the ending after. Exactly. That's pretty much my thing. That sort of bittersweet feeling at the end of a film. That's kind of what I always seem to go for. No problem, Akref. Close. Close. Little Lydia, how you doing? Yeah, the choir's adding, which is good. It's not subtracting. But getting the right balance, I think, is important. Don't want it to be too much, you know, not too overbearing. Well, guys, I think I might call it there. I am hungry. Really hungry. I feel like this has been a struggle, this one. I don't know why. Trying to find its own voice, I think. It's been a struggle. But we're getting there, I think. Moving towards something. Something that's really it's vibing, so you know. That's good. That's really good. I will go eat. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thank you for hanging out today. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the support, all the nice gifted subs, and just for, you know, the nice comments and things. It's very, very nice of you. Very nice. I'll be back again next week, next Monday, for essentially studio office hours. Do some more work. I don't know if this will be what we'll do or we'll do something else. I don't know. Hopefully by then this has been progressed a bit further. So we'll see. You had a nice time, that's good. Now I actually don't know if I can actually raid. Maybe I can? Let's see what I can do. Because I'm using Restream, I don't know how this works. Hartner. We'll raid Hartner. Hartner is the producer for Alan Becker. So you folks on YouTube. Oh, sorry, you folks on Twitter. On Twitter. Oh my god, on Twitch. We'll send you over to Hartner.
You sound like you need to eat some food.
I need to eat food. Yeah. How do we do this? Oh my god. I'm really bad at Twitch. Let's try this. How do you do it? It's changed. I feel like everything's changed. Oh, here we go. There's a button that I'm missing. All right, we're gonna raid. Everyone on YouTube will just end the stream, but that's okay. Have a good one, guys. Have a great week. Don't do anything crazy. And I'll talk to y'all soon, I guess. All right. Bye. Bye-bye.